A former Navy SEAL sounding the alarm on hundreds of Navy SEALs quitting over these vaccine mandates. And it's not just happening in the military. Law enforcement members are also fighting back, including a veteran police officer out in California who hung up his badge over the vaccine requirement for all city employees.
Among the pantheon of experiences I've had, there's one that shocks me the most. Ironically, it's my continual inability to be surprised by the current state of the world.
We received an email saying that you're going to have a vaccine by a certain date or face discipline up to including termination. And I took it as a threat, and because I don't plan to be vaccinated, and I decided to turn in my badge so I can speak up because others can't for fear of losing their job.
Sergeant, how hard of a decision was that?
Very difficult. Especially after, serving for that many years and putting on the uniform so many times. The last time I put on, it's emotional.
You're being forced to leave your job because you don't want to get this vaccine. Are you alone in this, in your department?
I'm definitely not alone.
One would think that at some point, the reasonable part of my brain would question how things could possibly get so bad so quick. How the country I grew up in appears to be eating itself from within. How the politicization of a virus has seemingly led to the complete breakdown of social cohesion and the creation of an out-of-control government and corporate apparatus obsessed with controlling our information while foisting conflicting narratives, all of which lead to us feeling more and more fearful and demoralized. Nonetheless, one hopes that even during times of apparent madness, a seed of truth can be found. This hope, however, feels cheap to me, because as it pertains to the coronavirus, where one sees truth, I see interpretation. I see personality in genetics and environment, all of which play a role in influencing how we view the world. You might think this is a moot point, but it's important. For example, if I were on the left politically, I'd probably believe that the coronavirus is pretty bad, and that we should, at least consider some kind of temporary vaccine mandate, so as to further vaccinate more of the population, thereby protecting more people from getting the virus. I'd also probably have less patience for the vaccine hesitant, viewing them as ignorant to the, quote, science.
I think we have to stop coddling people when it comes to this and the vaccine, saying, oh, you can't shame them, you can't call them stupid, you can't call them silly. Yes, they are. The people who aided and abetted Trump are stupid because they believed his big lie. The people who are not getting vaccines, who are believing the lies on the internet instead of science, it's time to start shaming them. What else? Or leave them behind. Because they are keeping the majority of Americans behind.
If, however, I were on the right politically, I'd probably believe that the coronavirus isn't that bad, that we shouldn't mandate vaccines, and I would have less and less patience for the proponents of vaccine mandates, viewing them as ignorant to the science and a growing burden to the goal of living in a freer America. So let me ask you a question. Do your views about COVID-19 correlate to your political leanings? I know that my views of COVID-19 are directly influenced by my political identity. I'm not just looking at the facts or the science and coming to an educated understanding of the virus based on logic and reason and evidence. My views about the coronavirus are caught up on a wave of influence, none of which are the result of objectivity, but rather a subjective and emotional reaction. COVID-19 is a virus, right? But it's also a Rorschach test. And none of this is more true than in the United States. COVID is a way for us to express our political preferences in an increasingly political world. Therefore, any appeals to science are bullshit. Because if my science suggests one thing, while your science suggests another, then this means the science isn't settled, but that we're using appeals to science to facilitate an underlying political desire. A great way to further emphasize this point is by showing you the following video.
If the Trump administration approves a vaccine before or after the election, should Americans take it, and would you take it?
If the doctors tell us that we should take it, I'll be the first in line to take it. Absolutely. But if Donald Trump tells us that we should take it, I'm not taking it.
If Donald Trump were still president, the left wing would be substantially more vaccine hesitant. But I thought it was all the science, right? The literature. I thought we were using reason and logic. The reason I chose to set up the video this way is because if we grant that this virus is essentially a Rorschach test, utilized to express our underlying political and social desires, then it's crucial to allow the population to express themselves openly and freely. Furthermore, it's crucial to allow citizens to devise their own strategies for navigating around the virus, because everyone is going to claim to be using science, each of whom doing so to attain a particular end. But we don't all agree on the science, and this includes the scientists. Therefore, it's equally important to put the power back into the hands of local communities, who can come to a consensus among each other about how to behave, about who should or should not be wearing masks, and so on. With so much political and social disagreement, we have to start looking at organizations like the World Health Organization or the CDC with complete bemusement. Why should the World Health Organization trump our local health organizations? Why should the CDC be able to tell a church town in rural Vermont with 0 cases of COVID whether or not they can attend Mass? It's not COVID we have to fear. It's the structures which surround it we should be exceptionally cautious of. It's not the masks or lack thereof we should fear. It's the lawmakers and politicians who can benefit from seizing control over our personal lives we should be cautious of. Because at the end of the day, this can all feel a bit abstract. For me, however, COVID has hit close to home. My family has gotten the virus and are now fine. The dangers, however, are not coming from the virus itself, but the political and social environment which surround it. For years, my family and I have been attempting to schedule a vacation. I recently asked when we might try and set the outing in stone, only to be reminded of a new hurdle in the way. Me. I have yet to get the vaccine, and some vacation destinations will potentially require proof of vaccination. So either I get fully vaccinated, or I can't go on a vacation with my family. Government mandates are almost always superficially simple. Tyranny doesn't start out by forcing your population to eat sand for the state. It begins with small measures, all in the name of the greater good. In this case, just get vaccinated. You know, people will say, I did it, it's not a big deal. And then they'll also say, you know what, your travel should be limited because you're putting everyone at risk. You know, you're being selfish. You're an anti-science conspiracy theorist. I wish I could say that the numbers of Americans who are pro-mandate at this point has surprised me, but it simply doesn't. People like to tell others how to live. People like to tell others what they can do with their own bodies, especially when they're scared and demoralized. I, however, am not scared or demoralized in regards to coronavirus. So I think people should be free to do whatever they want. And that includes getting or not getting the vaccine, especially when other treatments appear to be viable.
The Joe Rogan Experience.
Well, if it isn't old horseworm Rogan. I'm glad you're well, man.
Bro, do I have to sue CNN?
Oh no, do you?
They're making shit up. They keep saying I'm taking horse dewormer. I literally got it from a doctor. It's an American company.
Mm-hmm.
They won the Nobel Prize in 2015 for use in human beings.
Yeah.
And CNN is saying I'm taking horse dewormer.
Yeah, what? So
they must know that that's a lie.
Taking one look at the media outcry toward Joe Rogan's use of ivermectin, you'd come away thinking he essentially injected a kind of horse poison. So I'm not going to make an appeal to science. I'm just going to show you some of the literature, and you can decide for yourself whether or not America's journalists and media pundits accurately described ivermectin. A meta-analysis published in the American Journal of Therapeutics said, quote, moderate certainty evidence finds that large reductions in COVID-19 deaths are possible using ivermectin. Using ivermectin early in the clinical course may reduce numbers progressing to severe disease. The apparent safety and low cost suggests that ivermectin is likely to have a significant impact on the pandemic globally.
But when you have a horse deworming medication that's discouraged by the government, that actually causes some people in this crazed environment we're in to actually want to try it. That's the upside down world we're in with figures like Joe Rogan.
A recent study out of Yale, titled Ivermectin, a multifaceted drug of Nobel Prize-honored distinction with indicated efficacy against a new global scourge, COVID-19. Here's a bit from the abstract, which states, quote, "During mass ivermectin treatments in Peru, excess deaths fell by a mean of 74% over 30 days in its 10 states with the most extensive treatments. Reductions in deaths correlated with the extent of ivermectin distribution in all 25 states. Sharp reductions in morbidity using ivermectin were also observed in 2 animal models."
So, Dr. Wen, ivermectin, apparently given to deworm animals, why are people using this?
Oh, not only are we saying that there's no evidence it works, it goes beyond that. We actually know that it doesn't work.
COVID-19 is a mirror for the world, a way of seeing how deeply conflicted we are with each other as it spills out our differences across the planet. But we have a chance to seize the reins of power and control our own destinies locally. We should do this as soon as possible. The ingredient to attaining this, however, is cooperation, a feature I fear we're losing quicker by the minute. So the sooner we realize our trivial political differences pale to the boot of power rapidly pushing down onto all of us, the sooner we can build communities which work from the bottom up rather than the top down.